Hey guys, you probably won't survive this one without muttering "no way" at least twice, because it starts with two sisters just trying to get to Los Angeles in style, and ends with an entire airline learning what happens when you pick the wrong passengers to mess with. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, drop your location and local time in the comments. I want to see where you're listening from. Jasmine and Maya Washington are the kind of passengers who make first class look like it has a dress code tailored blazer for Jasmine, gold cuffs in Maya's braids, everything ironed and intentional. They'd save for months, not just to feel fancy, but to arrive fresh for the interviews that could change their lives. Historians still argue whether arriving fresh really matters in a job interview, but these two weren't leaving it to chance. Boarding SkyNation Airlines Flight 2187, they're the only black passengers in the 16-seat premium cabin. Everyone else gets champagne and smiles. They get ticket checks, 3 of them, plus the kind of "are you sure you belong here" glances you usually reserve for a raccoon at a garden party. The lead flight attendant, Cynthia Thompson, keeps coming back, pretending to offer help, but it's clear she's just circling. Things stay frosty until cruising altitude, when Cynthia arrives with backup Kevin, the kind of guy who probably calls a croissant fancy bread. They claim the sisters are disruptive, even though Maya's been meditating with headphones and Jasmine's been reading quietly. What's really going on is 3 rows back, Bradley and Karen Mitchell, a couple with matching entitlement sets, had whispered to Cynthia that the sisters don't seem like they belong. Soon, Kevin is offering to make them more comfortable in Economy Plus, which is like telling someone their steak dinner will taste better in a vending machine. Maya starts recording because Mom taught them document everything, and Cynthia immediately barks about airline policy. Maya, tech-savvy, quotes federal regs that say otherwise. The temperature in the cabin shifts. Some passengers watch, others pretend clouds are fascinating. Captain Peterson arrives with an air marshal, and the sisters face the impossible choice: move quietly and swallow it, or stand firm and be labeled angry. They choose dignity, refuse to move without cause, and the threat escalates: either take economy or get off the plane. Minutes later, they're walking the length of the aircraft, phones recording past passengers with eyes darting like they're watching a nature doc about gazelles and lions. By the time they're wedged into separated seats in economy, Maya's thumbs are moving like she's speed coding a spaceship because she kind of is, uploading the footage to a secure cloud, while Jasmine dials the one person who can turn this from indignity to corporate earthquake. "Dad," she says when Harold Washington answers, "we have a situation." His voice is calm in that way, where you know something dangerous is about to happen, and he starts gathering every detail like he's building a legal warhead. What the crew doesn't know, what most people don't know, is that Harold isn't just an aviation lawyer. He's also a major shareholder in SkyNation's parent company. Historians still argue whether the term silent partner really applies to a man who can ground a fleet with one phone call. But right now, Harold's proving it's not just a title. His next call is to Frank Bennett, SkyNation CEO, and it's short. The plane's not taking off until his daughters are back in their seats, with a public apology, and there's going to be a serious talk about why this happened. Meanwhile, Flight 2187 sits parked at the gate, a technical delay, announcement buying time, while first class sweats under reduced air conditioning. Cynthia and Kevin huddle near the galley, phones out, faces tight. Passengers start shifting, muttering. A businessman yells for answers. Maya texts Jasmine, "Something big is happening, Dad must have pulled strings." Jasmine replies, "Stay calm, let's handle this with dignity." Then, 2 hours in, the main cabin door swings open. 3 executives in suits step on, their badges catching the light like medieval crests. Thomas Freeman, VP of Operations, goes straight to Maya's row. "Ms. Washington, I want to personally apologize for the treatment you and your sister received today. It was unacceptable." Across the cabin, another exec is already speaking to Jasmine. They're escorted back to first class, and the Mitchells couple who sparked the mess are being politely but firmly relocated to Economy Plus. Karen sputters about complaining passengers, and Freeman drops it flat. We found no evidence of disruptive behavior-only bias. The words hang heavy, like a verdict. Cynthia and Kevin vanish from the flight entirely, replaced by attendants suddenly offering extra pillows, premium headphones, and smiles like they've been practicing for a toothpaste commercial. Diane Foster, the lone passenger who spoke up earlier, gets upgraded too, leaning over to tell the sisters, "Justice looks good on you." Maya checks her phone, her video's gone public without her meaning to, racking up tens of thousands of views already. The hashtags Flying While Black and Sky Nation Shame are climbing fast, and before they even push back from the gate, the sisters have become the center of a storm. By the time they land in Los Angeles 6 hours late, the storm has gone full hurricane. Cameras wait at the gate, reporters shout questions about race and rights, and both sisters give measured answers that thread the impossible needle, acknowledging the wrong without letting emotion be weaponized against them. Their phones buzz nonstop. Maya's video has passed 2 million views. Boycott Sky Nation is trending, and investors are already bailing. Back in Atlanta, Harold is moving like a chess grandmaster in a lightning round. He calls an emergency meeting with Bennett, flanked by legal counsel and PR heads. When Bennett offers a corporate-grade apology and a promise to investigate, Harold slides a folder across the table inside. Evidence, shareholder leverage, and a draft agenda for a board vote of no confidence if real reforms don't start now. Historians still argue whether Bennett paled because of the numbers in the stock drop or the look in Harold's eyes. The negotiation that follows isn't just about 2 seats in first class, it's about rewiring an airline's DNA. Maya pitches a bias tracking system that logs every seating change and complaint, revealing patterns that can't be brushed off as isolated incidents. Jasmine outlines a diversity training overhaul that forces staff to practice equitable responses, not just click through modules. Harold demands 2 new board seats for diversity oversight. Bennett protests it's impossible. Harold points out 2 directors up for renewal. Silence. 3 hours later, they have a deal. The Washington sisters will help design and oversee sweeping changes. Maya's system goes live fleet-wide. Jasmine's training becomes mandatory, and the board expands. In return, they issue a joint statement framing this as collaboration, not destruction. Cynics online accuse them of selling out. Others hail them as insiders who can actually force change. Months pass, and the numbers start talking. Bias-related complaints drop 92%, employee satisfaction rises, and the system catches dozens of incidents before they escalate. Tanya Jackson, a new flight attendant hired under the expanded diversity program, thanks the sisters for opening doors she'd never thought she'd walk through. Other airlines quietly adopt similar systems, and Congress starts eyeing legislation to make bias tracking mandatory. 6 months after that humiliating walk to economy, the sisters stand in Sky Nation's renovated HQ, surrounded by executives, activists, and media. The CEO admits they could have treated this as a PR mess, but chose transformation instead. Data dashboards glow with improved stats. New board members take their seats, and Tanya smiles from the crew ranks. Harold joins his daughters, proud but realistic. "You've built systems that don't need me to deliver justice." The plane back to Boston boards. This time, their first-class passes are scanned once. No side-eye, no whispered doubts. Settling in, Maya checks the live metric still climbing in the right direction. Jasmine watches clouds drift past and says, "Privilege comes with responsibility." Maya nods. And it's not a victory until everyone has what we fought for. The hum of the engines settles into a steady rhythm, the kind that makes you breathe slower without meaning to. Out the window, clouds stack like soft mountains, sunlight spilling over them in gold sheets, and the cabin feels warmer, calmer than it did that morning months ago when everything started. The sisters don't speak for a while. Some silences are earned, and this one is full of everything they've done. Everything's still ahead. In the back of the plane, passengers chat softly, flight attendants move easily between rows, and it's just normal. Maybe that's the most radical part, normal without bias, without that extra glance or second guess. Change doesn't always announce itself with fanfare. Sometimes it's the absence of the old weight pressing on your shoulders. They know what they've built isn't perfect. No system can undo history. No policy can make people unlearn prejudice overnight. But it's movement, and movement matters. Somewhere down the line, a passenger they'll never meet will sit in a seat they paid for without question. A young crew member will speak up without fear of retaliation. And maybe, slowly, that becomes the new default. As the seatbelt sign clicks off, Jasmine leans back, letting her eyes half close, the edge of a smile softening her face. Maya keeps watching the data tick upward on her phone, but her shoulders have eased. They're not done with Sky Nation. Not with the bigger fight, but for now, they've proven something to themselves and to anyone watching. That strategy and persistence can turn humiliation into a blueprint for change. The Engine's hum deepens, the horizon glows, and the world below turns toward evening. In the quiet, the work they've begun feels like it might just last.